Hello out there and welcome to the Psychologist NG TV. How have you been? I hope you've been good, because for me, I've been doing really well. Like you might already know, I have been sharing my journey of mindfulness with you. Like I said, I was really being stressed out at some point in my life and being drawn apart from different directions, and I felt I needed a change. And when I started practicing mindfulness, that made the great difference in my life. That's why I decided to share this series on mindfulness with you. Mindfulness is actually a very broad field of study if you want to really go in depth. But the good thing is it's simple to practice, and you can self-practice mindfulness. And that's what I've been trying to teach you. And believe you me, if you go through these videos and apply all that you're going to be learning from these videos, you will notice your life change for the better. Your stress levels will drop. Your allostatic load will reduce drastically, and you'll be healthier, and your overall well-being will be better. So we've been doing this series on mindfulness. We did mindful waking, mindful eating, and mindful driving. If you haven't watched those, please go check out those videos. And today I'm just going to talk about self-compassion. Self-compassion is a part of the mindfulness practice. Mindfulness, needs you to be self-compassionate. If you really want to be mindful and enjoy practicing mindfulness, you have to be self-compassionate. And then the opposite of self-compassion is self-criticism. Let me help see you through a little exercise for a moment. Now think about someone you really, really love, someone you love really deeply. Could be your child, could be your spouse, could be just a dear friend. And think of a time when they were going through some difficult moments. Now if you can think about that, think about how you responded to them, how you spoke to them, the tone of your voice, your physical position, in relation to them, and all of that. Are you able to picture that? If you're like most people, I imagine that if a dear friend is going through stress or difficult moments, we show them compassion, we show them kindness, So you talk to them in soft tones, you reassure them that there's hope for the future, you show them love and kindness. Now, think about a time when you were going through difficult moments. Maybe just something happened, something difficult, something unexpected, something unpleasant. Now, how did you react to yourself? Now, if you can think about that, and if you're like most people too, when we go through difficult moments, we are not really able to show ourselves self-compassion. So whilst we are able to practice compassion towards other people, towards ourselves, we usually practice self-criticism. So we are hard on ourselves, something goes wrong, and then we are self-blaming, we are self-criticizing, we are beating ourselves up. And an analogy of, someone being shot by an arrow, and instead of nursing the wounds, you rather shoot yourself with another arrow, is how we describe self-criticism. So you've suffered, you've gone through a difficult moment, no matter what the cause was. Instead of you seeing yourself through it, nursing the wounds, you rather take another arrow and shoot at yourself. That's what self-criticism is, and it's not productive. Self-criticism actually activates the fight or flight reaction, and so there's a release of negative hormones in your system, cortisol and adrenaline, and you know what happens? You'll be stressed out, and at the end of the day, when this happens continuously, you end up suffering from psychosomatic illnesses. So it is not good to practice self-criticism. When once you begin to criticize yourself in difficult moments, this fight or flight reaction is activated, and that's not good for you. Rather, practice self-compassion, and there are 3 steps of self-compassion. The first one is self-kindness. When something goes wrong with you, when something does not go as planned, please be kind to yourself. Intentionally be kind to yourself. Speak to yourself in soft tones. Encourage yourself. Try to find hope for the future, Encourage yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you can be kind to others, it means that this kindness, research has shown that this kindness is inside of us. We just need to activate it towards ourselves. So if you can be kind to other people, you can also be kind to yourself. So when going through a difficult time, instead of self-criticizing, that would not serve any good cause, that will lead to releasing stress hormones, that will lead to burnout, that will lead to rumination, and all of these will hamper critical thinking and solution providing. Rather be self-compassionate. Show yourself some kindness. When you show yourself some kindness, research has shown that it activates the tend or befriend, response in us. And this is like the opposite of the fight or flight reaction. So whilst the fight or flight reaction leads to the release of adrenaline and cortisol and stresses you out and leads to burnout and leads to psychosomatic illnesses, the friend, tend and befriend response leads to the activation of the release of oxytocin, and this rather calms you, this rather makes you glow, and then it helps you think and solve your problem. So be self-compassionate, practice self-kindness. When things go wrong, speak to yourself in soft tones, encourage yourself. Now I'm going to teach you at the end of this the self-compassion pose. When you carry out the self-compassion pose, you feel warmth, you feel better, and you can cope better with whatever problem it is that you're dealing with. So the first step of practicing self-compassion is self-kindness. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Put yourself first in some instances, and ensure that whatever you're doing does not lead to harm, self-harm. Okay, now the second one is common humanity. We are all human. When things go wrong, as they will go wrong one time or the other in your life, remember that you're just human, and as such you're not perfect, and as such you're not in control of the universe. You don't have control over certain things, and please do not worry about the things that you cannot control. Focus on the things that you can control. Remember our common humanity and our weakness as humans. You're not the only one going through these problems or having these limitations. A whole lot of us out there at one point in time or the other will go through bad moments, will have momentary failures, things will go wrong, not exactly as planned. So as a part of our common humanity, we suffer setbacks. Accept it as a part of life and move on. Setbacks will happen. You're only human. There's just so much you can do. Sometimes even after you've done all that you can and you've done your level best, things will still go the other way. Don't kill yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Just remember that you're human. This is not happening to only you, and setbacks is part of our humanity and part of our lives. Now, the third step of practicing self-compassion is being mindful, remaining in the moment. Most times when things go wrong, we try to go back to the past, think about all of the times that you failed and how you're a failure and how this is your fault and how you're good at nothing. Self-rumination does not help you because it is not targeted at problem solving, or you're worrying about the future, whatever. Just stay with the moment. Enjoy the moment. Experience the moment. You can think about when things went wrong, where things went wrong, and you can draw lessons. Now, research has also shown that when we are practicing self-criticism, we are not able to learn from experiences, okay? So if you're self-criticizing, the opportunity to learn from the experience is reduced, but when you're self-compassionate, then you can think clearly and you can learn from the experience. Remember that self-criticism activates the fight or flight reaction. And when the fight or flight reaction is activated, when the amygdala hijacks the brain, remember that your prefrontal cortex, where you can think and reason and problem solve, kind of shuts down. So when you do not activate the fight or flight reaction by being self-critical, but instead you're self-compassionate and you activate the tend and befriend response, and oxytocin is released and you're calm, then you can think clearly, then you can learn from your experience, then you can solve your problems. How does that feel? Marvelous, I think. Now let's look at the self-compassionate pose. Just look at me, and anytime you're going through any kind of suffering in your life, anytime things go wrong, this is what you can do. Now place your hands on your chest like this. Press hard on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Breathe in deeply, a deep breath. You can take these deep breaths 4 to 5 times, but I tell you, when you do this, you feel some warmth deep down inside. You feel calmer, and you can go ahead and cope with your day. So this is all about self-criticism versus self-compassion. Try this today. Be more compassionate towards yourself. You deserve it. You really do deserve it. If nobody's going to give you a hug, give yourself a hug. Let's practice the self-hug as well. Besides the self-compassionate pose that I just taught you, you can also hug yourself. Put your hands across your shoulders like this. The right hand across the left shoulders, left hand across the right shoulders. Tap yourself. Say you did your best. You did the best you could have done. Squeeze hard on yourself. That's you hugging yourself right there and telling yourself, just tell yourself whilst you do that, things will be okay. You know, blessing, you've got this. There's another chance in the future. You'll do better next time. You did your level best. Just speak positively to yourself, some positive self-talk, and hug yourself really tight. Now, this is one of the ways you can practice self-compassion. If you like this video and you learned something, please click on the subscribe button and subscribe to this channel. And you know, a lot of beautiful and wonderful and interesting and educational stuff will be coming your way via this channel. If you like the video, please also press on the like, leave your comments. I want to hear what you think. I want to hear how you're doing with your mindful waking, mindful eating, and mindful driving. I want to see how that's affecting your life. Please tell me in the comment section. Until I come your way again, have an amazing day out there to them. Please don't forget to subscribe.